Hi my friends, today we are going to work in the restoration of this work table to transform it in this one. Hi my friends, how are you? I hope everybody's fine. My name is Daniel Villarino. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My friend Alvaro and his wife Clara moved to Florida and he had to leave behind several of the things that he had in his workshop. He did carpentry for a long time and wood turning, and he offered me several of them as a gift. One of them was this vise, the second was a combination sander, belt and disc, and the third one was a long table that I thought it would be really perfect to place next to my lathe to put on top all my sharpening equipment, for example. When I put the table in the workshop, I realized that there were several things that I needed to correct. The first one was the height. It was too tall. It didn't fit really well compared to my body, and also it was covering part of the window. It was placed against a wall, against the window, and part of the window was hidden by the table. The second one was that it was not sitting perfectly well on the floor. It was dancing on two legs, so I needed to cut one of the legs to make sure that the four legs were on the floor and also that it was really level. The third one was that the front board was separated a little from the lateral board of the table. And finally, the color. The table had several coats of paint over the years, and it was painted kind of sad and gloomy gray, which, by the way, was really similar to the floor color of my workshop. So I decided I needed to do something about that. So the restoration of this table is going to be today's project. I hope you enjoy it. Let's get to work. One of the things I want to do is to reduce the leg's length. The table is 36 inches and 7/8 high, while my workbench is 34 inches and 1/16, and my table saw is around that high. So I want to remove about 3 inches. Also, the current height feels a bit uncomfortable and the table covers a bit of the window. I marked the same distance from where the legs are connected to the table towards where I will make the cut. That way, I want to see if I can resolve another problem. The table does not sit well on the floor. It wobbles. I align well the guide with the mark and I keep that alignment during the cut. I will repeat this procedure for the 4 legs. Well, the height reduction worked pretty well, but the table still wobbles. However, with a supplementary wood block, it is level. I am going to mark with pencil the shape of the leg section. With the meter saw I will cut the needed rectangle, and then with the sanding disc I will round up the corners to adjust the piece to the mark I made. You may be asking yourselves why I did not cut 3 of the legs and then began cutting the 4th in a trial and error process to adjust it well. The problem is that the table weighs a ton. Well, maybe a little less, but it is really heavy. And I could not be putting it on its side and then up again so many times. A process of trial and error would have been very painful for my back. And in this way, I get to do something that will add to the table character. to glue the piece to the leg using a lot of carpenter's glue, because the leg surface is end grain and I do not want the capillaries to absorb too much glue and dry the joint. Oh yeah, I know, I need a mallet. Good project for a future video. I place on top of the table a vise that also was gifted to me by Alvaro to put pressure on the gluing joint. That vise will be another restoration project for a future video. The grey color seemed to me a bit gloomy. I thought about several options. To paint it another color was one. To eliminate the paint and see what there was below was another. At the end, I thought that it would be convenient to remove the paint anyway. To do that, after looking at the surface and seeing the number of nails it had, I discarded a plane and I decided to sand. I am using a portable band sander with a 36 grit paper. I do not want to sand it to a new finish. I want to leave some of the hits and dents because it's part of the table's history. It looks like it has multiple coats of paint. After a while, the sandpaper was clogged and I had to replace it. Yes, the rollers were really hot. The new sandpaper improved a lot the situation. After the band sandpaper, I use an orbital one with that 80 grit sandpaper. The complete sanding with 36 grit and then the circular sanding papers of 80, 120 and 240 grits took me several days, working several hours per day. When I said that the table was heavy, it was not a joke. Fortunately, I have a shop crane that helped me a lot. With the crane, I was able to put it on a side so that it would be easier to sand. Although most of the table is made out of pine stock, the legs are solid oak. With the orbital sander, I am rounding the edges. I could have done that with a portable router, but I like the idea to keep adding to the rustic aspect of the table. To rotate it in the air, even though with some effort is much easier than without the help of the crane. Although the side that goes against the wall will probably not be seen, still I decided to sand it like the rest, in case in the future I decide to turn it around to the front. As you can see, the height is perfect for both the window and my height. At the end, I liked several things regarding a clear-coated finish. The nails, the knots, the dents where there are remains of the previous grain paint, I believe all gives character and history to the table, and it will make me remember always its generous previous owner. I am going to apply spar urethane with a semi-gloss finish that will help in the cleaning and the protection. It is applied with a natural paintbrush. I will apply several coats, letting it dry between 1 and the following 24 hours. I mounted the table on top of 4 chairs and some wood blocks to raise it and paint it in a more comfortable position. Ha! To paint is easier. I wish I had this assistant for the sanding. I almost forgot that I had to repair this separation. Before I keep applying coats of spar urethane, I'm going to fix it. I had to remove a couple of screws. With a saw blade, I clean the space to verify that there are neither nails or obstructions. I will use a long clamp to close the gap. I use a couple of wood pieces to avoid denting the place I already painted. I am going to use long, thick screws, so for each one I will make a pilot hole. Also, I will countersink so the head will not be proud of the wood. With 3 screws placed in a triangular pattern should suffice. The table has nails and screws all over the place, so we will do a few more stripes to the tiger. If anything, the table keeps adding character, and the gap was closed, which was the objective. After 4 or 5 coats of spar urethane and letting it dry for 48 hours after the last, I will use a 600 grit sandpaper to remove small imperfections in the paint. I wonder where did he go, my assistant. With a small cloth I will remove the dust. Here you can see how the surface looks after a superfine sanding. Now it is ready to give it the last coats of spar urethane. This table is located next to the lathe. Here I am going to mount an iron vise and my sharpening center. Okay, my friends, what do you think? I think it looks pretty nice. It's a project to which I dedicated many days, but I did it with a lot of love. It reminds me of Álvaro and Clara. Álvaro, thank you so much for the gift. It looks that this table had many years of service, and it is my expectation that it will have many years more. It has great personality and character, the dents, the color that remained after the sanding, the knots, everything. I love it. To all of you, I hope you enjoyed the video. If that's the case, please mark the like button below, make comments. If you haven't subscribed yet to my channel, please do so. There is going to appear the button to facilitate the subscription. And it will be until the next one. Cheers!